I have this thing. It's called a pre-stage poop, right?
Okay.
And there was a one time in Portugal, I remember vividly, they didn't have backstage toilets. They had one of those like portaloo things.
Porta potties.
Porta potty.
Oh, no.
And so I'm sat on the porta potty.
You can never
and I'm
go
hearing
number
the crowd
two.
going, Calum. And I'm like, I've never been encouraged this much before. Not even when I was a little boy, my mum was on the potty going, Calum.
Hi everyone, I'm Daphne. I'm going to be your host. I have a show called Eavesdropping on Kiss92, 1 to 4 p.m. And this Valentine's Day, we are so excited to be able to have a date with Calum Scott. So everyone, please put your hands together for Calum Scott. Hi! This is for you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you so.
We needed to give you one.
Thank you so much. I do not have a rose for you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You've got roses for everyone else later.
Later on. Thank you so. Hi guys. Nice to see you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the most dates I've ever had in one day.
It's a record, I'd say.
Record. It's a record.
21, can I include myself?
You can include yourself.
Okay, amazing.
You can include yourself. What beautiful Valentine's dates I have today.
Yeah, and we've all got questions that hopefully you've, on dates, do you feel like it's a lot of Q&A kind of? I'm sure.
I guess so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're having
to
to,
know.
you're having to like come up with the goods. if you're on a date, you need to make sure that you've got great answers.
But do you feel like having great answers or like being more honest is like, I guess that's a struggle, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and you need to be careful how honest you are. Because the problem with me is I'm too honest.
I don't think that's a problem.
Well,
If they don't like it, they shouldn't,
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Right, this is probably too much too soon, right? But this is what happens on dates.
I've given you the rose already.
You've given me the
so,
rose.
I mean.
Let's get straight down to the business, right? So every time I get asked in an interview, like, what are your pre-stage rituals? What do you do before a show that gets you ready for the show? Can't believe I'm telling you all this. But it's just us, right? There's nobody else listening, i.e. radio.
Yeah. No, we're not filming this.
You're not filming this. I mean, the cameras are just there for show. I have this thing. It's called a pre-stage poop, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I know, it's terrible. This is what I mean. My date's already left.
No.
By this point, but I have to do it. That's part of my ritual. I have to go.
You need to relieve yourself.
Just before stage.
I think that's important.
And there was a one time in Portugal, I remember vividly, they didn't have backstage toilets. They had one of those like portaloo things.
Porta potties.
Porta potty.
Oh, no.
And so I'm sat on the porta potty.
You can never
and I'm
go
hearing
number
the crowd
two.
going, Calum. And I'm like, I've never been encouraged this much before. Not even when I was a little boy, my mum was on the potty going, Calum.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No
I was just
pressure.
like, okay, I'm scared. I'm going to go.
Well, I think now that you've confessed that any of these questions are going to be
It can't be worse.
piece of cake, a piece of cake. So we've got 20 questions
Okay.
from 20 people. And we're going to start with the first one from Jun Chai.
Hi, Calum.
Go easy on me, Jun Chai. Go easy.
You will be easy. So, what's your greatest piece of life advice that has been given to you when you feel depressed or down?
Life advice that I get when I feel depressed or down. The type of advice you normally get, which I think is not too helpful sometimes, is when people say, just don't worry about it.
Oh.
It's the worst thing, because I think people say it with the best intentions, but it's just, if you didn't need to worry about it, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
It's a write-off answer.
Yeah, I think for me, it's, I surround myself with people who I can trust, and I think in getting those kind of really honest kind of questions or pieces of advice, like, I think you're being too sensitive, or I think that you need to occupy your mind a bit more, or whatever it is that just gives you the sense that somebody who's giving you that advice, even if it feels a little bit personal, or it feels like suddenly you go, oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. They're telling you it because they love you, right? So I think surrounding yourself with honest people who can give you honest feedback, and you got to take each experience at its own merit, because sometimes you just need a cuddle, right? You just need a cuddle, you just need a cup of tea and some pandan cake, and sometimes you just need to,
Noted.
I'm gonna get 21 pandan cakes now. Sometimes you just need a little cuddle, you just need a little friendly chat, you know. But I think every experience is different, so advice would change. But surrounding yourself with honest people, you're very welcome.
That
Just
makes you
shit.
feel safe. Hey?
100%. I think if you feel safe amongst people, you're more likely to be able to really tell somebody how you feel. You know, because when somebody says, "Are you okay?" and you say, "Yeah, I'm fine," you got to be able to say, "I'm really struggling today." You know, I think that's the best thing. I think crying is so underrated. I think people need to have a cry every now and again.
Absolutely.
Just put
the
on
cry and the cuddle. It's the
Oh my God.
CC that you need.
Just put Lion King on. Just you know what I mean? Just Simba's dad. I mean, my God, say no more.
Mufasa.
Say no more.
I love it. Okay, number 2, Cheryl.
Hi.
Hey Cheryl, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, you too. My question is, when you're traveling on tour, right? What are some things you enjoy doing? Maybe pre-show or after the show? Is there like
I know what he likes to do pre-show.
Pre-show, I think we'll just skip.
Is there something you
Because
like?
you already know that. After the show, I think it's really important for me to have hugs with all of my band and crew. That for me feels like you've kind of, it's like the handshake at the end. You know, you feel like you've sealed the deal. I try not to drink too much. I do love my wine, I've got to say, and I do love my beers. But I try and keep level-headed because the next day I want to be here and I want to be full of life. I don't want to be like, oh my God, I'm so hungover. So I try and keep healthy. Try and get a good night's rest, exercise. I know that sounds so boring.
No, it sounds like adult stuff.
Yeah. Like I just want to say, I just get into the bath, fill it with wine, eat chocolate, but I don't do any of that. Maybe a bath bomb. That's
Hey,
about it.
you could, the day's not over yet.
The day's not over yet.
Yeah.
It's still going to be Valentine's Day by tonight, so who
Bathtub
knows?
of wine.
Yeah, could I get 25 bottles of wine, please? The hotel's like,
25 bottles of wine, 21 pandan cakes. You're ready to go.
I'm putting on an extra like 300 kilos. That's what's going to happen.
You're on tour. You'll lose it.
It's holiday weight.
Yeah,
holiday
exactly.
weight.
All right, number 3, Caitlin.
Hi.
Hey, Caitlin.
So I'm really curious. I just want to know, what would you do if you weren't in the music industry or if you weren't an artist?
Ooh, good question. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be an astronaut. NASA never called.
Oh.
Hence why
Did
I'm
you
a singer.
apply though?
Yeah, 3 years old. I don't know where the application form was. Do you know what? I've always wanted to help people. Always wanted to help people. I think even when I was younger, I was always the guy that people would go to with their worries and like, oh, Sophie's not talking to me today, and it would be me that picks up the slack. I think I've always just been a good ear for people. So I think like maybe like a mental health therapist. I kind of looked at being a physiotherapist to help people through physical injuries. So just I guess that, because I think I have happened into a career where I'm in people's ears, giving them comfort anyway. So I kind of do that job, but I think that's what I'd be doing if I wasn't here. I wouldn't go back to my day job. That was terrible.
You were recruit.
Yeah, I was in recruitment and HR. So literally, I've gone from.
Everyone knows because it was in your title when you auditioned.
Yeah, it just comes across the screen. But yeah, I've gone from talking about Sandra's parking complaints to singing to thousands of people. So
Millions. You're in the billions club now too.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Twice, hey?
Little did I know when I was logging onto my computer on a Monday morning that I'd be here doing this. Yeah,
That's
crazy.
so great. If I
Crazy.
may say, your song "Heaven," I think,
Aw.
is like you are that astronaut that like brings
Aw.
people to the. I listen to that song in the car and
Thank
look
you.
at the sky and then I'm there and yeah. So I think you do that and you
Thank
are
you.
that voice in people's ears.
Well, that's what's important to me, I think I appreciate this is a very long answer, but that's what I want to do. Is I want to like it's all well and good doing pop songs and making people feel good and dance around, right? But I feel like for me, the most poignant moments of my performances is usually when we're singing "You're the Reason," when we're singing "Flaws," when we're singing "Heaven," because I think those songs exist in people's minds for a lot longer. I think you attach really important moments to those kind of songs, and don't get me wrong, two of my best friends, their wedding song for their first dance was this dance song with a saxophone. Some people do that.
To each their own.
So exactly, but I think the majority of people that I have videos from is people dancing to "You With a Reason" or to Biblical, and I think those songs kind of stand the test of time. I think those are the songs that I want to carry on making.
Amazing.
What is the biggest misconception people have about you?
Ooh.
I mean, they all sent in questions. They won because they're good questions.
I know. Biggest misconception about me. I would have said at one point that I think everybody there was a long time after I appeared on Britain's Got Talent where I had to really prove that I was an artist and not a contestant. Because I think sometimes with those shows, the sad thing is that because the shows are so huge and because the auditions and the videos go so viral, sometimes it's hard to move away from that moment in time. So I feel like the biggest misconception about me is that I'm not just a guy from Britain's Got Talent. I think that would be fair to say right now, because I feel like I've really earned my badges. I feel like I've worked really, really hard, and it's been tough because you don't want to be above your station and you think you're bigger than the audition, because I think that the audition continues to be a really great platform.
I mean, golden buzzer from Simon Cowell.
Exactly. And people always ask me, and I never ever go, oh my God, another question about Britain's Got Talent, because that's the start of my career. But there's been so much that's happened, and I feel like that's something that I am passionate about, is just building a story for people to be like, there's so much more to him than just this one show, you know? So even though I'm grateful for that moment, there's a lot more that's happened since. So yeah, biggest misconception is I'm not just the guy from Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, I think most of us are here because of your music.
Yeah.
And as we should be, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate
All right.
that. Thank you.
Zachary.
Hi.
Hey, Zachary.
Can I ask what usually goes through your mind when you perform in front of a live mass audience?
Lots. Where do you start? I think for me, one of the things that I notice about performing live is that you tend to have this like autopilot, you know, and I feel like you need to have that, because if you're too aware of however many people there are there, it's terrifying. And like sometimes like I'm vividly shaking. I'm like with the microphone like this. And I think for me, autopilot helps me get comfortable. It helps me perform and not worry too much about what I'm doing and how I'm standing, and do I need to put the mic in the other hand? Remember to breathe, you know, all these like really random things that come into your head when you're nervous. And I think when that autopilot kind of beds in, you can start being aware of stuff. And one of the things that for me happens when I'm performing to especially large crowds is I'll be singing in the moment, and then I'll have this weird flashback where I'll go back to my day job and I'm sat in front of my computer like, oh my God, and dreaming of moments like what I'm doing, and then I'll flash back and I'll be like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah. You know, like I'm in the moment acknowledging it, and it's a bit of a surreal moment, but it's the best feeling ever, because it just constantly reminds me that I'm doing something that I absolutely have dreamed of. Weird, but very, very cool. Sometimes it can make me forget lyrics, but if you think about it too much, you're like, that's 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh God, the song. So yeah, it can be quite terrifying, but there's something beautiful about acknowledging that many people, and to be honest, I could sing in front of an audience just like this, and I would still have the same feelings I have if I'm singing to 50,000 people, because every person means just as much. Just because it's a smaller crowd or 50,000, you don't go. Nothing changes in my mind. I'm still just as nervous. Still do my pre-stage poo. Still care. You know.
Amazing. Sabrina.
Hi,
Hey,
Calum.
Sabrina.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I wanted to ask, what is your love language?
Love language. Ooh. Very Valentine's Day topical. I like it. My love language, I think, is probably words of affirmation. I think I'm somebody that requires a lot of reassurance. Very sensitive boy, always doubting myself, always doubting whether I've done a good job. Was that performance okay? Shall I go for another take? Like, always just in my own head. And I think it's just because I care so much about what I do that I need to have that kind of, I need somebody to go, that was good. And then I can go, okay, fine. So I think in the same thing in a relationship or with friends, when somebody kind of reinforces to me that something I've done has been appreciated, or, you know, they value the time that they've spent with me, that always kind of gives me the feels, you know? And who doesn't love touch? You know, a little cuddle. I
was
that.
gonna guess touch because of the cuddle.
I just love cuddles. Honestly, before every show, I hug all of my band, and when I come off, I hug all of my band again.
Aww.
It's like I just love it. And then you see it with some people, you know, when they don't really like hugging, and you go to hug them like.
And you're like,
and
don't matter.
Just embrace it because it's happening. It's happening. But yeah, words of affirmation and touch probably.
Well,
you're welcome.
You're wonderful, and a lot of people applied to be here today, but the 20 of them were the ones that got it. So Shah's next.
Hello.
Hello, Shah.
Hi. Okay, so what achievement that you achieved in the past that you are still using it today to motivate yourself or push yourself as an artist?
Ooh, good question. These are good questions. I see why you were picked. I feel like the Golden Buzzer moment for sure kind of makes me continue to have the same sort of. I'm just gooey-eyed about the industry. I'm gooey-eyed about being able to do what I love, and I feel like. It's funny, I've just said I want to get away from that moment. I'm like, Britain's Got Talent. No, but I think that I was never expecting that. I never expected to be in that position. I'd applied for X Factor the year before. I didn't get through, and so I was quite happy in my Maroon 5 tribute band, Maroon 4.
No way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No
there were only 4 members of us. So it figures, right? But yeah, I was quite happy doing that. And then my sister was like, please let's apply. You know, it's a different show. And so I kind of went, and I had Dancing on My Own in my back pocket. I'm not going to lie. But I wanted to be there for her. And that's why when she went on and she got all those no's, it was really difficult for me. Because the very person I wanted to impress, I kind of wanted to...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Simon was, and we've talked about it since, and he said, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to upset your sister like that. Yeah. And I was like, good. But he was the person that I wanted to impress, and I think just singing with emotion and singing with that kind of like passion of just being like, what's happened has obviously affected me, and the only way I can use that now is through music and through that performance. I think that's kind of, for me, cemented how I write music, how I perform music. You know, the reason why I can go around the world and sing the way that I do and as passionately as I do for every person that I come across is because is of moments like that where I just care. I care so deeply about it, and I think that's informed the rest of my career. So it's moments like that I think have shaped the rest of my, and it probably will continue to, because I don't see myself ever getting fed up of singing these songs. So I feel like, you know,
we hope you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from Lighthouse, that's really hard to sing, but I'm sure I'll learn to love it. But yeah, probably that moment, that very emotional moment.
I've watched it like many times.
It's
and your
crazy.
Sister looked so proud of you,
Oh,
which
I know,
is such a
and she was
beautiful
so.
thing.
I really feel for her because she found that so challenging. That the person that she introduced me to singing. You know, she was the person who had me from beyond my bedroom door, and she was the one who put me into karaoke competitions against my will. And she was the person who really believed in me. And I think it must have been so hard when I was coming back from from London, saying that, oh, Little Mix have messaged me and Ashton Kutcher's messaged me, and she was like, yeah, okay, great. So it was
I'm
tough.
sure she's proud of you.
Oh, I bought her a car. She's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's fine.
yeah. Rafi's next.
Hi, Calum. So
Hey,
my
Rafi.
question is, if you can go back to the past, what is the one thing you would change?
Ooh, one thing I would change. I'm very much a believer in that kind of butterfly effect. You know, you stand on a butterfly, it changes the rest of the future. So I think I'll probably keep everything the same. If anything I could give advice to myself, it would be to worry less and enjoy more. Because in this industry, and me just being a sensitive boy, I worry about almost everything. And even if something is amazing, I'll still find something to worry about. You know, and it's hindered me in some ways in my career because it's meant that some songs that were supposed to come out didn't. Some songs that were supposed to come out a lot earlier didn't. Some performances where I really didn't believe that I was giving the best performance have suffered because of that. So I feel like worry is always something that's probably going to come up eventually anyway, with me being an anxious kind of person. But I think I would love to be able to have dealt with it a little easier. Just because I think some of the moments that I wish I would have enjoyed more, You know, like my first world tour, I remember being stood in front of audiences across the world, just nervous as hell, just shaking like a dog. And I feel like it prevented me from really enjoying myself and really being like, wow, this is incredible. And I feel like the second world tour that we did when I was back here at Capitol Theatre, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I
it
feel
was
like
so
the next
good.
tour, I'm going to enjoy even more. And I think every tour I do from here in, I'm just going to be buzzing, because this is something that I love to do and it's seemingly not stopping, you know? So I've just got to count my blessings, be present and enjoy rather than worrying so much. Is probably what I'd change.
I think that kind of links to Jeremy's question too.
Oh, there you go. You see, I knew.
Hi, Calum.
Hey,
My
Jeremy.
name's Jeremy. Welcome back to Singapore.
Thank you very
Glad
much.
to have you back.
Thank you,
So
thank you.
answered the question about life advice. So here's a little twist to that. So,
Okay.
how do you stay grounded in who you are in the hustle and bustle of this music industry and just music career?
Thank you for your question. I feel like for me, I think my personality lends very well to this industry, because I got into, as you know, human resources, and I was there for 8 years. And 8 years is a long time to be in a job that you fell into, right? I feel like we've all probably had jobs where you just go, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I remember my first job was when I had to collect shopping carts from the car parks of shopping centres. So that wasn't very good. That was just literally collecting shopping carts. And I remember doing that job and hating it. I remember going to my human resources job and it just got so boring so quickly. And then to be in the position I'm in now, there's just an overwhelming sense of gratitude, because I was a little bit older when I got into the industry. So I had that sense of like real gratitude and real humility going into the industry. It made me very gooey-eyed and very respectful of everybody I speak to and all the people that help me. And I think paying gratitude and being sort of a bit more exterior with my thoughts rather than looking to myself and being like, I did this, and you know, it's my name, it's Calum Scott in lights, rather than being a little bit too kind of like not pretentious, but a little bit too confident. I'd rather lack confidence and pay gratitude outwards. I think I'm a spiritual kind of guy. I like the fact that the universe is kind of crazy, and I like to put things out into the universe with no hopes of anything returning, because then when it does, there's something beautiful about that. So I think just being humble and being grateful has kind of set me in good stead, I think.
Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place.